Now I told you that class-based views are great for models, and in particular, they're great for the CRUD functionality of models. And if you haven't heard of CRUD, you're saying, what the crud are you talking about? Anyways, okay, CRUD. What does CRUD stand for? C-R-U-D, create, read, update, destroy. The idea is whenever you have some sort of model, like in our case, we're working with the hall model right now, you should have the ability to create a new hall. And that's what we've done so far, right? We have the create hall view here, but we should have a place to read that, which really it's just a way to see what's inside of it, like in our case, to see the title. You should have a way to update it so the user says, oh, I misspelled cat videos, I got to update that. They should have that ability. And then also destroy. They're like, I don't know, I'm embarrassed that I made this cat video Hall of Fame. I need to destroy this thing, right? They should have those 4 basic functionalities. So what we're going to be doing for the rest of this section is implementing the CRUD functionality for halls, and we're going to do all of it with class-based views. So for all of these new ones, we're going to have to create the URLs for them. So let's go ahead and actually just copy what we have for this path, and we're going to paste it down 3 times because we already have the create functionality. Now we're going to have to do the process of updating, seeing the details of it, and deleting it. So let's go ahead and instead of having create hall, let's have detail hall, which detail is just another way to say like view a particular hall. And then instead of create here, we'll have update hall. And then finally, we'll have something here instead of create hall, we want to have delete hall. Okay. So we have create, detail, update, delete. That's this. Those are our CRUDs: create, read, update, and destroy. So we're going to have to change the path on these things because if someone wants to view a particular Hall of Fame object, they're going to have to see enter in a ID for that thing. So let's go ahead and say we are looking for an int that we shall call PK. PK is short for the primary key, right? The primary key is the ID of that model. We're going to do something very similar when someone's trying to update something, but instead we're going to do after we've got whatever that ID is, we're going to say update just right afterwards. And similarly for the destroying or the deleting, we'll say delete on that. Okay, so with all of these, let's make sure that we update the names here. So rather than create hall, let's have detail, lowercase here, detail hall. We also want to have update hall. And on this one, we're going to have delete hall. Awesome. So we'll save all of this. One more thing that I'm going to add here, just because I think we're going to have to get to it at some point here, is we need to be able to see the dashboard. So up here at the top, this doesn't really belong in any particular category. I'm just going to go ahead and create it. Let's create a URL for a dashboard. So we'll say dashboard is equal to our views dot dashboard. Not going to use a class-based view for this one because it's just pretty straightforward. And we'll give it the name of, you guessed it, dashboard. Okay, can't forget my trailing comma there. Awesome. So we should have all the proper paths in place. Let's go ahead and start implementing these. So for the time being, I'm just going to comment out the update and the delete because we aren't able to write those, but let's go ahead and do the dashboard and the detail. So I'm going to save my URLs, go back to the views. Right here up at the top, let's create a new function for the dashboard. So we'll paste this, make sure I get tabbed to the correct place. There we go. So dashboard, let's just return hall/dashboard.html, and really all we need to do is create a new file, dashboard.html. I'm not even going to import the base stuff. I'm just going to say in all caps dashboard. Well, it is nice, I guess, if we have the nav bar at the top. Okay, you convinced me. Let's copy this stuff in from home, and we'll just change this to say dashboard. Okay, that should be good. Then let's talk about the detail, right? So this is getting back to the idea of let's use class-based views. How do we make it so that someone can simply say, okay, I just want to see what's inside of a particular hall object. How do we do that with class-based views? Well, we'll just go after our create here. We're going to do another class. In this case, we're going to call it detail hall. And this is going to be, again, importing from generic. But in this case, we're going to inherit detail view. Okay, so instead of create view, we're doing detail view. This is, again, the idea here is you're not creating something, you're just viewing something. So there's like no forms involved here or anything like that. And this one's incredibly simple. There's only two things we have to specify. One, the model. So let's just copy and paste that. And then a template. Those are literally the two things, all that we need here. So I'm going to go ahead and paste this one in. But instead of create hall, I'm going to say detail hall.html. So let's go ahead and save that and then go create our detail hall. So we're going to say detail underscore hall.html. All right, and again, we're going to want to import from our base. So I'll go ahead and copy what we have inside of home. Let's get back to our detail here. Now, in this situation, we're wanting to display a particular hall object. So we're going to want to show essentially its title. We may also want to, say who it is that created this thing, whatnot. So let's go ahead and use an h1 tag, and this is going to specify the title. So we have the opening, closing of our h1 tag, and it passes forward just the lowercase version of whatever your model is. So in this case, it's just lowercase hall.title, and that's going to display that there. Then also, we're going to want to see the username, right? So let's go ahead and specify that. We'll say, okay, let's do and some much smaller text here because I feel like the Hall of Fame is the most important part. We still want to give our user credit, but not make it super big. So we'll use an H4 opening and ending tag there. Inside of this, we're going to provide the username. So here we're going to say, all right, hall.user.username. Great. And let's even, change this a little bit. We're going to make the text muted so it's kind of grayed out a little bit to really emphasize that the title is the most important thing here, but if you'd like to know who created it, also it's visible. So we're going to do text-muted. Okay, so with all of this place, I know we've kind of been cranking out a ton of code here and we haven't seen anything yet. Let's go back to our project. Let's do a Hall of Fame /1, because if we create a new object and it's the very first one, that's the default ID. It goes like 1, 2, 3, 4, just kind of counts that way. So let's go ahead and hit enter on that. And look at that. We have cat videos created by Matt. How excellent is that? I mean, I don't want to like really go too crazy about this, but look how simple this is. When we go back to our views.py, 3 lines of code and we have a proper view for the detail. Like, it's that simple. And you're going to see in the coming video for doing our update and our deletion, it's almost as simple as what we've just done here.